Hello, hello, and welcome to Full Send with Abuga. Today we have the world champion Abdil Mahdzan. Abdil, how are you doing?
Really good. Really excited to do this full send interview with you. Like I've been watching,
Yeah,
most of your podcasts and some of your gear reviews.
nice.
I really learned a lot. Just watching your channel too, man.
Dude, that's pretty sick, man. It means a lot coming from you, and thank you for making time for this. Yeah, man. Where are you talking to us from? Which country?
A little introduction. My name is Abdil Mahdzan.
Hmm.
I'm from Malaysia, and today I'm just doing this interview from the study room of my house. It's been a quiet weekend, no riding this weekend since we're preparing for Eid next week. It's just chilling with the family and stuff. Yeah.
Nice, man. And Eid Mubarak to you, man. Hope your Eid celebrations are gonna go well and be awesome. Um, yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
So, do you get a lot of time to practice in Malaysia? Is it like what's the scene like out there?
The scene is not the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
I guess 10, 15 years ago, there were a lot of local longboarders
Mm-hmm.
here. And, but I mean, when I started, I've been racing for 25 years. I got into street luge
Mm-hmm.
when I was 15. So that was back in 1997.
Damn.
But
Yeah.
I only started riding in 1998. It was at the end of 97 that I built my first board. But pretty much, this it's a long journey of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, it's a solo thing. People come and go over the years, so it's one of those things, right? It's a
Yeah.
passion, and you can only get people into it for so long. I'm still doing it. So
Yeah, man. That's pretty admirable. In Kenya, I sort of have the same challenge. Obviously, you've you've had the test of time, like 15, however many years it is. Yeah, you've said, I think 25 years. And it's hard, man.
yeah,
Like people don't realize, like keeping it going, finding time to practice. It's
exactly.
not easy at all, man. So I do appreciate those challenges you faced, and hope the viewers do as well. But one thing that's really astounding is that you've managed to become a world champion and you've managed to compete at the highest level, despite all those challenges, which I think is pretty cool. Do you have like loads of fast hills and just places to practice in Malaysia?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I live in peninsular Malaysia, and
Mm-hmm.
most of my riding is done in the peninsula. Malaysia also consists of Sabah and Sarawak, which is on the Borneo Island. And in order to get there, you got to take a flight over there. But I don't think there's many good hills out there. So most of my riding I do is places I can drive to from home.
Mm-hmm.
And I have about several spots that I go to, and I tend to rotate where I go every weekend, so I don't get bored.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, it's still a lot more spots than when I was living in the U.S. When I was doing my undergraduate, did my bachelor's degree there.
Mm. Nice.
But that's how I started. Like I started racing when I was a student in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the races that I did in the U.S. were, back when I started, were basically on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Purdue University in Indiana, and a lot of my races were basically I could drive to. The nearest race was Bainbridge, Ohio. That was my first race, and
Wait,
at
was
my
that?
first race was
Oh,
where I
jeez.
first met Andy Lally too.
Nice.
Yeah, so we go a long way back.
Yeah. Wait, there was something you were saying in one of the interviews that you did about Andy Lally. Um, I don't remember what it was, but you met him, and yeah, tell us like how did you first? What was that experience like? Was it Soldiers of Downhill, the same road?
Oh, back then it wasn't called Soldiers of Downhill. It
Yeah.
was called the Bainbridge Grand Prix, and it was sanctioned by the IGSA,
Mm-hmm.
International Gravity Sports Association, and that's the same association that actually had street luge in the X Games back in the mid to late '90s. And the IGSA basically, carried the torch because the X Games dropped street luge in 2002. So 2001 was the last one in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a student. I was a freshman that year, and
Yeah.
I remember watching the X Games live on TV in that year. And then my ambition was actually I wanted to get into the X Games the following year. And
Yeah.
then the following year they dropped the bombshell, and there's no more street luge in it, and everyone was so bummed.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but from the ashes, I mean, IGSA basically carried the sport, over the next decade
Mm-hmm.
from 2001 till 2012, and so basically they sanctioned the Bainbridge Grand Prix. That was my first race. Andy Lally was there. Obviously, nobody knew who each other
Yeah.
was. Because it was a lot of for a lot of first timers, I guess it was their
Yeah.
first race. Yeah, and little did I know that he was actually a career race car driver.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I remember it wasn't an interview, but actually
Yeah.
in one of my posts I did mention that my experience at the Bainbridge Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
I think I took a couple of laps down the hill, and somehow, for whatever reason, my trucks broke, but I didn't crash. So I was sitting in the back of the U-Haul, and someone pointed out to me, "Hey, your trucks are broken." And I'm like, "How did that happen?" Right? But I knew the trucks were like trucks that I had been riding back home,
Mm-hmm.
for quite some time, and they were just like Indy 215s, cast trucks, and I guess cast trucks being very fragile,
Mm-hmm.
they cracked both the front and the rear hangers, and I made it down the hill without crashing. So I'm sitting at the bottom of the hill, and somehow Andy Lally comes up to me and basically takes his Randall R2 trucks off his buttboard and
Yeah.
basically loaned them to me. And then like he saved my day, man. Like I was able to continue riding for the rest of the weekend. Otherwise, my day would have been done.
What a
So
hero, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you, Andy.
shout out Andy Lally. So Andy, you said Andy is a career racer. What is it that you do outside of street luge? Like in terms of career, does it have any overlap?
No, unfortunately, I have a real job. So
Yeah.
I work in the oil and gas industry,
Damn.
really
Yeah.
hustling the hours, and it's a really demanding industry.
Mm.
It's very heavily impacted by geopolitical events and oil prices and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Supply and demand, and so that's what I do for work. It helps pay the bills for me to go street luging
Damn,
and
man.
racing. Yeah, so I'm really thankful.
You don't get like lubricants for your bearings and stuff. Like, is there any perks like that? Because I know there's some people out there that like they have very interesting jobs and they benefit their street luging or longboarding in the most interesting ways. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your Austria race. Austria was super interesting, like one of the fastest racetracks I've seen. And yeah, bro, like that's I don't know, I thought it was crazy. What was your experience like?
Yeah. So I drove up to the hill
Mm-hmm.
because I was traveling alone. I don't think I could get anybody to travel with me that for that Austria race.
Mm-hmm.
So I flew into Munich um, via Turkey because
Yeah.
Austria and Erzincan were back to back. And me flying, coming over from Malaysia, I just, it would probably make sense to stop through Istanbul and make my way to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I get over from Germany to Austria, show up to the hill, and yep, it was a lot steeper than what it looked like in videos. Like if you've seen the
Yeah.
car drive down the hill and filming one of the skaters who was going, I guess, free riding pretty slow.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's every time I show up to a new hill, especially this one, it was intimidating. It's especially the intimidating part is
Hmm.
when I was driving up between I guess the third hairpin to the second hairpin. That's the really long straight,
Hmm.
and I'm like thinking, okay, yeah, this is gonna be really, really fast and
Yeah,
really
man.
gnarly.
The WDSC just puts on events at crazy tracks, bro. Like it's actually
Yeah,
insane to me how they've I don't know, they've really pushed the boundaries for okay, like Turkey was crazy, but then having Turkey and Austria, and then probably they're gonna have another crazy one this following year as well. Like I think that's pretty insane. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they started off the year with a bang. Like,
Yeah.
okay, first race of the year, it's the fastest track on the circuit.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought that was
uh,
wild.
but it's less technical than Erzincan.
Hmm.
It's only like 3 hairpins you need to brake for, but
Yeah.
it's that high speed straight that was actually very interesting. Like
Hmm.
my normal setup wouldn't work here, so I had to adjust it.
How did you adjust it? Actually, could you talk to us about your setup? Because I noticed something very, very interesting that I thought was pretty cool. Let's see if we can get a clip of it. Uh, let's see.
From
Yeah,
the live
man.
stream.
Yeah, you're running TKPs. I thought that was
Yep,
pretty cool, man. Tell us
yep.
about your
Here's
setup.
yeah. So this is basically a don't trip banger. It's not
Yeah.
the truck that's on my luge right now. It's this is an older model.
Mm-hmm.
Main difference is like the older model used a urethane pivot. I can
Mm-hmm.
see it.
Yeah.
Um, so this is on I use it on my second board at home. But my race board is basically running spherical pivots. It's the newer version. So
Yeah. So
um,
TKPs all around. So double TKPs front and TKPs in the rear.
no,
Yeah.
double TKPs in the front and a reverse kingpin in the rear.
Yeah.
Um, so this is again, this is a DH Cybin. This version is with urethane pivot.
Mm-hmm.
So the one I'm racing on now has a spherical pivot, but it's basically the same geometry, adjustable base plate
Nice.
from 10 to 40 degrees. So
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to Don't Trip.
Shout
They
out.
make some really good, yeah.
But why TKPs, man? That's so interesting to me.
Well, when I first started luging,
Mm-hmm.
back in '98, my first trucks were basically TKP. And the only trucks I could get were actually Indy trucks, and I think they were 140 millimeters wide.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I started off with, and then I managed to get the wider version, which is the Indy 215. And the 215 is actually a misnomer. It's not 215 millimeters wide; it's actually 180 or 184, I
Mm-hmm.
think. So it's basically the same geometry, wider, and so yeah, I grew up with TKP. And then I think my next set of trucks after Indies were Z rollers, which were even older
Damn.
than Indies. Yeah. So I have a history with TKP, and then a lot of my history with the reverse kingpin were on Randall luge trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote that for quite a while, several years as well. And I think it was in 2012 that everyone like most of the lugers were on Randalls.
Mm-hmm.
And entering 2013, and this was basically the first year of IDF. IGSA was pretty much done at that point. All the lugers were basically switching over to a different truck. And I think it's basically the trend, due to stand up. A lot of precision trucks became available, so
Mm-hmm.
people went to Ronins, and I basically went back in time and went back to Z rollers.
Damn.
And
Wait, I gotta. Yeah.
yeah, so the thing about, if I were to describe TKP geometry,
Yeah.
it probably doesn't work well for for stand up, right? But for luge, because our center of gravity is so low, we don't get a lot of leverage when we're turning our boards. So TKP basically allows you to lean with less effort, and you get more turn. Yeah, so basically more turn with less lean. Because
So they're just like a super. We said more turn with less lean, so they're like a more aggressive RKP.
Very aggressive.
Yeah. Okay, I see. That's pretty interesting.
So I went back to Z rollers. When it was when IDF came about from 2013 to 19, and I stuck with Z rollers. I was doing basically front and rear. And then sometime in 2014, I think I switched out the back truck to a reverse kingpin, and I just used whatever reverse kingpin truck was available, just to try and get more stability. And but the thing about Z rollers is it's a cast truck. The pivot cup's not easy to source. So I ended up making a precision base plate for it. With a Riptide urethane pivot that I could put the hanger on, but it's
you made your own. You made your own precision base plate. That's pretty cool.
For a Z roller, yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
But the truck is, I guess, isn't as precise as it could be, and I was looking into options, precision TKP options, and there was pretty much nobody doing it, and then I came across Don't Trip. Some stand-up guys were already riding Don't Trips, I think in 2016 and 17, and when they started showing up on the circuit. I think Don't Trips were mainly used by the LDP and slalom community, and no one was really using them for downhill. And when I came across the Banger, I'm like, sweet, it's a precision TKP with sphericals in the hanger, and and it was narrower. I wanted something narrower than the Z roller. And Don't Trip bangers just fit the bill, and they just improved my riding so much. And as of now, I mean, can't think of anything else I would ride.
Yeah, man, they're pretty sick. I think it's pretty cool. So, what setup changes did you make specifically for Austria?
Okay, so the only thing like adjustable as far as angles go is on the rear truck. The bangers are on a fixed base plate, so because the rear is adjustable between 10 to 40, you can basically choose the angle and depending on the track. So the middle ground is a 25 degrees, so that would be my baseline. And that baseline actually is the optimum angle that I consider using for Turkey. But it didn't really work here in Austria. In fact, I started with a 20 in Austria, and it was still a bit squirrely coming down that last straight. Because that last straight, it's kind of rough. And, the thing about luge is, especially if you're trying to go as fast as possible down this last straight, you need to stay tucked and be very aero. And that means keeping your head on the back of your luge, right? But if I had a 20-degree rear and I rested my helmet on it, I'm putting weight on that rear truck, and it just wasn't stable. So I ended up basically putting it to the minimum. I put it at 10 degrees. And then, when I took a first run on this 10 degrees, I'm like, sweet.
It's perfect.
It was perfect. I could put my helmet on the back of the luge and it wouldn't wobble. So it was really confidence inspiring.
Is there like so you're trading, you're going for stability, but you're also trading your ability to turn? Does it make it harder to carry speed through the corners, through the corners, having a setup like that?
Yeah, there is some trade-off, I would say. And fortunately, Austria, I mean, this track axonalism is very wide. The thing is, like, if you miss your breaking point by a little bit, you could basically miss the apex. And that's what happened to me in the final.
Yeah.
I missed the apex of basically the left hairpins, the first and the third. Um, so yeah, if we were to go back to this track, I probably wouldn't go do a 10 degrees.
Hmm.
Probably start with a 12 and a half and then maybe bump it up to 15, depending how it goes. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I've listened to a lot of the stand-up interviews. I guess I've been listening to Axel to Axel,
Yeah. What are they
where
saying?
basically
Yeah.
everyone was dropping their rear base plate. And in luge, it's no different.
Yeah. I was actually I'm delighted to hear about the gear similarities. I mean, obviously it's the same, but it's still it's still different. So, it's a lot of fun to learn and hear about this. Anyway, tell us how your
Yeah.
qualifying experience went, man. Walk us through one of your qualifying laps. Let me see if we can get this to load, and behave. See.
Yeah, I think with the qualifying
Mm,
live stream is that you would see multiple riders in the live stream because the cameras were just switching back and forth between one rider and another rider.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, if this chooses to work. Okay, here we go. This is your last qualifying run.
Okay.
So
Um,
so technically there's a street luge tuck, right? What are you
yeah.
doing to be so fast that no one else is doing? Or like, is there anything special that you can share to having like a really good street luge tuck?
Um, just stay low.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Keep
Yeah.
that hit low, man.
Yeah.
Like if you see it on the back of my luge, I have this little foam hit rest on it.
Hmm.
Um, and if you want to stay arrow and stay tucked for longer, you got to keep the hit down.
Yeah.
And it's you spend less effort when you do that. I see a lot of guys basically. I mean, I don't have my helmet on the headrest, obviously, in the corner.
Yeah.
Um, but on the straight, I mean, you should keep your head down low.
So
So
how do you see the road then? Or is it angled
uh,
enough?
I don't know, maybe because I'm smaller than most people,
Yeah.
so I don't have a huge belly to look over me.
Shots fired, man. Shots fired. Shots fired. I
uh,
love it.
yeah. Um, Yeah, I guess it's also due to the setups. Like everyone
Hmm.
has their luge set up differently, and I basically have just the right amount of drop on my luge,
Hmm.
where when I lay down on it, and my legs are on the front fender, and my helmet's on the headrest. So basically, bring those arms in, and keep a small aerodynamic profile. Um,
I see. I
so
see. Yeah, because you're one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that most of these other guys have maybe 15, sometimes 20 kg on you in terms of weight. Am I right or wrong?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm like in my racing weight normally
Mm,
outside of Ramadan is 66 kilograms. Right now,
yeah.
due to Ramadan fasting, I'm down to 62, but
Yeah.
it's all right. Um, I think the 66 kilograms is my optimum weight. I can't get any heavier.
Hmm.
It's just my metabolism. Like I try to put on weight and I just can't. The heaviest I've been is like 69, but then my body fat percent goes up, and
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah. So the fact that you're able to accelerate and stay ahead of everyone, man, I think that's just pretty cool. I think that's really cool. And just pull
yeah,
away continuously. Like um it's so interesting to see because with downhill, like you can see when someone has a really good tuck, with street luge, you just kind of see someone accelerating and getting away. So like for example here, man, you have an excellent push and then you just disappear. Like yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just doing my own thing.
yeah.
Obviously the push accounts for a lot.
Hmm.
You maximize your speed, your potential energy at the top. I mean, I don't have much potential energy at the
Yeah.
top because I'm a lighter guy, so compensate for it by having a good start. And then when you do that, you basically command the lines, right? You
Hmm.
basically hit apex to apex, and people have to work to get around you because you're taking the ideal line.
Um, I mean, in Austria, you didn't really have too much trouble. You were able to sort of pull away and stay ahead. Um, what did I want to ask? Is there was there any strategy like if was there any strategy to like winning Austria? I mean, like if someone was actually going toe to toe with you, how do you approach the race?
Well, I went into Austria with no expectations because
Yeah.
it was a new track for everyone. And in fact, during practice on day one, I was getting passed by my main contenders.
Hmm.
I was getting passed by David Frege, Ulrich Becker, and Colby Parks.
Hmm.
I think that was when I was still trying to figure out that bottom straight, when I was still on a 20-degree rear.
Hmm.
And then once I went down the 10-degree rear, I think I was still braking too early for the last hairpin.
Hmm.
And it took a few more practice runs to basically late break and look for a marker. And then it was actually I had to thank Ulrich for this. There's actually a sign pretty
Yeah.
close to the hairpin, like that's the breaking point. I didn't see it. I didn't pay attention
Yeah.
to the road sign on the road.
Did he point it out to you or
Yeah, he basically like I'm not giving away secrets, but
yeah?
yeah, it's over there.
Well,
So
shout out Ulrich.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's like that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, practice was pretty much anybody's game. Like people were just drafting me from behind, and yeah, and so obviously in racing, I had to figure out how not to get drafted.
Yeah. So what did you do? What was the secret to not getting drafted?
Just staying out front, I guess. Push out in
Yeah.
front, and that way, the other guys have to battle each other. And when they do that, they get in each
Just
other's
go.
way. They slow themselves down.
Hmm.
And in street luge, it's different from stand up because to pass someone on a street luge, it takes a really long time
Hmm.
because you have to basically overtake the length of the person, right? And that is anywhere from 5 to 6 feet. Whereas in stand up, like yeah, you're just basically passing someone the length of their deck.
Hmm.
And there's a lot more close quarters racing in stand up than there is in street luge. Um,
Yeah.
so so
But you guys got
yeah,
some
that was my strategy for the.
for the for Austria, and it seemed like it worked out because you had, I'd have to say, a pretty uneventful time throughout the race. Stayed out in front, and yeah, you won, man. What kind of
Well,
yeah.
I don't know, but the semifinals is like was really interesting because I thought I was pulling away. I had a big lead coming down the last straight, but they caught up to me
Hmm.
in the last hairpin. Um, I think I was just playing. I was the rabbit, basically being chased by the
Yeah.
pack, and so they have a reference point. Like here we have Jules Chaperon and Colby Parks.
Hmm.
Like Jules, actually, he's a young kid. His dad is actually Stefan Chaperon. Like his dad is also a legend, I would say.
Yeah.
Like I first met his dad in Ohio back in 2004, and
Yeah.
Jules is actually wearing his dad's leathers.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty
and
cool. Yeah.
riding a luge that is that built like 22 years ago. But he's on modern wheels now. He's on deltas, and yeah, he's basically giving Colby a run for his money here.
Yeah, he made Kobe work for it, man.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see like how close that was. Like if if I had taken it a little bit easier, I could have easily been passed by one of them. So
Yeah, man.
never take these guys for granted. Yeah,
No, yeah, anything can happen. Uh,
exactly.
but you came out on top. You won the race. And what kind of mindset did that put you in? Like having won that. Did you feel like you could win the season at this point? Like, where did it put you mentally?
So, well, I mean, the final, I mean, maybe from, I guess, the spectator's perspective,
Hmm.
it looked uneventful, but
Yeah.
I knew I had to work hard for it.
Hmm.
For example, like this whole race in Austria, I was on alphas.
Yeah.
Like, I was saving the deltas for Turkey. And so my strategy, I think, was to basically stay with the Mango Alpha the whole way,
Hmm.
starting from the quarters and the semis. But it was in the semis that I basically hesitated because I saw Colby basically changing the fresh wheels because he wasn't very confident at the time. He was like
Hmm.
the number 5 qualifier, and Jules had qualified fourth. So Colby knew like he had to make a pass, uh, you know, to advance to the final. So going to the final,
Hmm.
like if I had stayed with the Mango Alpha, I would have been probably in a worse position. So I think my strategy work paid off. I basically brought another set of fresh wheels. I switched to the Plum Alphas
Hmm.
for the final, and I think it worked.
Yeah.
Basically, gave me that margin to stay ahead of everyone. But
Hmm.
I don't know if you could, rewind back to the first hairpin. I could show you that I actually missed the apex.
Let's see. Here we go.
Yep. So entering this turn at about 90 k's per hour, I do my thing, but then the luge started scraping the ground a bit, and yeah, something to do with the trucks turning. Like
Hmm.
it was like my trucks jammed up a bit, and I could feel some metal scraping on the ground as I was turning. So I think that was the main reason why I actually missed the apex. Yeah, you could see it looked like,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah,
Like there.
yeah, right, that point. Yeah, something was going off here. So I had to like work to prevent myself from washing out wide, and I did wash out wide. But thankfully, the road is very wide, so I missed
Yeah.
the apex, but so did everyone else.
Yeah, they followed you. They did what you did.
Yeah.
Uh, but is it easy to control the luge at like the limit of traction? With like stand up, I know you could scrub, you could sort of kick out the board like to the corner and scrub off a little bit of speed. Is it the same for street luge?
I mean, in street luge,
Mm-hmm.
we have more wheels, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people are on 6 wheels,
Mm-hmm.
and Ulrich is on 8. Andy Lally on 8, and I think it's a personal preference whether to go 6 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 isn't really the way to go in street luge.
Yeah.
Um, I've ridden 4 wheels on technical tracks with hairpins, and you basically don't have as much grip.
Yeah.
Um, in street luge, a lot of your weight is on the front. Like we have typically a 60-40 weight distribution,
Mm-hmm.
depending on where your front trucks are. Mine's probably close to 65-35. So there's more weight bias on the front. And if you were only riding 2 wheels on the front, you basically, I mean, even with modern wheels today, big white wheels,
Yeah.
um, you know, the uh, the old adage still applies: more wheels, more grip. And otherwise, basically, you're excessively loading two wheels, and
Hmm.
basically, yeah, you're just scrubbing off urethane there for no good reason, and you end up replacing wheels more often.
Yeah.
So, and we don't slide; we brake with our feet. So we have rubber soles on the bottom of our shoes. So basically, brake before the corner
Hmm.
to the correct speed or the optimum speed for the corner, and then commit.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
it. If you carry too much speed, you're done. Game over for you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal, man. Well, yeah, man. So how did you feel winning this and getting the first win of the season? Like, do you have any inkling that hey, I might become world champion, or like where was your head at?
Well, it's always good to start off the first race of the season with a win.
Yeah.
But I knew that there being 5 races on the calendar, and for Street Luge they only take the best 3 results. So it could have been anyone's game, right?
Yeah.
I'm just taking things one step at a time, one race at a time. But yeah, it's good motivation going into the second race for sure.
And speaking of the second race, let's jump right into Turkey. But I want to touch on something very, very interesting that's I surprisingly haven't asked anyone about. Like anyone out there knows it's a pain to travel with stand-up boards. What's it like traveling with a luge, man?
So yeah, from that picture,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm trying to recall. Was this going to? Yeah, okay, yeah, you can see Turkish Airlines in the background. So I was flying off to the first 2 races. Um, I was flying
hmm,
basically business class for this trip, as they give you more luggage allowance.
nice.
Um,
Yeah,
and yeah, the my luge case is at the back there behind the 3 suitcases.
yeah.
It's basically a rifle case. Um, so it's
Wait,
a hard case.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
and the
rifle for a
case,
gun.
like a assault
That's pretty
rifle type.
interesting.
Yeah, it's made by a company called SKB. You can look
Yeah,
it up. I think they're from Orange, California. And that
that's
case
pretty
has
cool. Yeah,
that case. I bought it in 2003, so it served me over 20 years, man.
that is pretty rad. Yeah, getting your money's worth. So do they ask you
Yeah.
what when you walk up to the little to the like airline whatever check-in place, what do you tell them? And do you have to pay like a lot more money to be able to bring your street luge along, or what's it like?
So there's always this perception that you get charged for oversize.
Hmm.
I've never got charged for oversize. Basically, the airlines charge you based on weight.
Right.
So I always, before a trip, try to get purchase a ticket or class that where I maximize my luggage allowance, right?
Hmm.
And obviously, if I flew economy, I'm only allowed one checked bag at 23 kilos, and that's basically one of my suitcases.
Hmm.
And when I'm flying to Europe, like typically I fly KLM, and main reason is you can add on a second bag for the exact same weight, 23 kilos, and it's like a flat rate as opposed
Hmm.
to paying excess per kilo, which is actually more expensive.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I would do when flying economy is pick an airline that basically offers you to add on a second bag for the same weight
Hmm.
as your first check-in bag, and then make it work from there. Or if I'm flying to a race in Asia, like back in during the IDF years, and we had continental championships.
Hmm.
So for the Asia Pacific races, when I would fly to Australia, Philippines, South Korea, I would basically fly Air Asia. And Air Asia, you basically can purchase the weight that you need.
Right.
even sports equipment. So yeah, calculate upfront what weight, how much stuff you're going to carry, buy accordingly and plan accordingly, so you don't get hit by surprises at the airport.
I see.
That would be my advice to
Yeah.
those thinking about traveling with a street luge to a race.
Yeah. Yeah. One of those things you never really people never really account for. Because like other race series, I think they have like different interesting allocations. So, I think that's pretty cool, man. Thank you for sharing, man. And shout out SKB with the rifle case. Do they know what kind of case it is? Like at the airport, do they know it's a rifle case, or do they it's just a bag to them?
No, it looks like a generic case. Some people assume it's
Yeah.
like a keyboard case or some
Yeah.
sort of Pelican case. Um,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, I think that 5014 looks about what I'm using.
That is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's a 50-inch case and 50-inch long, and then
Yeah.
the other number 14 is probably the width, 14 inches wide. That's probably too narrow for my luge. I think mine's like a 5016 or something, but
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Does it
I
still
mean,
have the interior with like the soft padding or
yeah, the eggshell carton
yeah.
foam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it out and I put a thinner piece of foam so I can get more stuff in there.
Yeah.
Um, but
Very
basically, it
cool.
just holds my luge in.
Yeah.
Because once I put my luge in, my luge weighs 12 kilos
Damn.
uh, complete. So by
Yeah.
putting it in this empty case of 10 kilos, that's 22. So I can probably throw in an extra kilo in there. I probably one set of leathers in there.
Yeah.
To maximize the weight, get it up
So
to 23 kilos is basically 50 pounds for those
for the
working in
Americans,
imperial.
for the
Yeah,
Americans. So your luge is aluminum, not carbon. Aluminum.
the pan is aluminum.
Yeah.
The droppers or the channel that the pan bolts onto are
Mm-hmm.
steel. So it's a hybrid. My handlebars are steel, so total weight is
Mm.
about 12, which is about 25 pounds. I think
Yeah.
that's the weight most riders luges are weighing these days.
I've been seeing other people using carbon in their luges and they're super lightweight.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about carbon luges?
I don't think carbon is worth it
Yeah,
because one, carbon is expensive, and
that's true.
I guess if you use it over time. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I've never ridden a carbon board, so this is only conjecture. Um, that it develops fatigue, cracks over time, and
Mm-hmm.
you can see the stand-up guys are always changing decks every year, right, to
Yeah.
stay competitive. And it's no different if you're riding a wooden board or a carbon board. Um, and I guess it's just a hassle,
Yeah.
to if you're going. I mean, they're saying it's lightweight, easy to push off the line, but then most of the races we're racing on, the tracks are pretty long, and I think a carbon luge will get will get smoked by a heavy
Mm-hmm.
board. So that's on the lighter end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Aluminum's on the midpoint, and then the all steel luge. Like I have another luge at home, which basically the pan is steel,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an extra 3 kilos complete heavier. So that weighs 15. So that's like 30
Insane.
pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably has its place somewhere on like a faster, non-technical track with less braking corners.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's pretty cool.
that's my take on it.
That is pretty cool. So steel, aluminum, all the way. We'll like it. Yeah, let's talk about Turkey, man. Yeah, how do you feel about Turkey? Like it's a pretty gnarly racetrack, pretty fast, pretty technical. Uh, some of the stand-up guys have called it an absolute insane piece of pavement. that just falls off a mountain. Yeah, what are your thoughts, man?
Oh, I love Erzincan,
Yeah.
Turkey. It's 2025 was my fourth year going back to Turkey. The
Hmm.
first year we were racing Cappadocia. The payment wasn't great. Um, but Erzincan was my third time there. Um, and as you know, my second year, 2024, I had a big crash there,
Yeah.
um,
Pretty crazy.
which ended my season. But I recovered in time to race the World Skate Games later that year.
Yeah.
But going into Erzincan in 2025, basically, that experience from 2024 basically spooked me, and I basically had
Yeah.
to, yeah.
Dude,
Um,
gnarly crash, man.
I know. I can tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Um, it was a
Okay.
setup issue.
Because yeah,
Um,
yeah, what
Most
happened,
people
man?
don't know this, but
Hmm.
I was riding slalom trucks that year.
Wait, that's pretty cool.
Like,
Like, yeah,
well, it's the same trucks, but narrower. Like the ones that I'm normally riding are 125 spaceable to 143,
hmm,
and that year I went to the narrower version for slalom, which is like 90 millimeters wide,
damn,
spaceable to 108. I used them in the Philippines for the World Championship, the World Championship,
yeah,
but at Tagaytay, and Tagaytay was it's a slower track, more technical, and I guess narrow trucks you could get away with it there on a you can get away with narrow trucks
hmm,
on a slower track, but yeah, you don't want to be riding like narrow trucks on crazy hills like Erzincan here.
like Erzin Chan.
Um,
So what?
yeah.
They just refuse to turn, or they just refuse to
Well,
engage. Yeah,
but the thing is, like, what's funny is that this was the third day. This was day three practice, and
yeah,
and that year it was a 5 day event. So we had 3 full days of practice. Day four was qualifying, and day five was racing. Right.
yeah.
So day one and day two, I was on basically these trucks without any issues. And then day three, yeah, and this was basically my last run for the day.
Always
Um,
happens on the last run. All the bad things. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I think it was a combination of doing the showstopper braking technique,
Hmm.
landing it on the ground, and immediately leaning to turn.
Hmm.
So all those things combined, being, I guess, being too aggressive and coupled with a slalom setup, it
Hmm.
just basically the luge tipped over, and basically this was the very first time something like this has ever happened to me, and I'm so thankful and grateful that I walked away from it.
Yeah.
Crashing into the hay bales, I think I was going at about 60 to 70 k's per hour after bleeding off speed from 115, I think. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, that's bro, like a
And
fucking rocket, man. Yeah,
yeah, well, what's really amazing was that I threaded the needle.
yeah,
I went behind the guardrail,
yeah.
and I went in front of the guy sitting on the chair.
Like he looked very shocked, man. I would be too.
Yeah,
Oh man.
exploded right in front of his face, and yeah.
But how, okay, coming back to, coming back to Turkey, getting on the hill again, that kind of that crash ended your race last year. How do you
Yeah.
then coach yourself mentally to get up to speed, or what sort of challenges do you have, to be able to tackle the hill again, go full send, and skate it and street luge it your best?
So basically, lesson
Hmm.
learned from 2024. I
Yeah,
basically have stopped using that slalom setup, went back to my baseline.
yeah,
Um, and basically, I knew that, that corner, I don't know if they named it after me,
yeah,
if it's turn 10 or turn 9 or something.
yeah.
Um, it's basically, the exercise caution approaching the turn.
Hmm.
And I would be very, I guess, gentle or conservative going into it. And it took me a while to build up to that during practice. And
Yeah.
the track this year, or I would say for 2025, we everyone takes their first practice rundown, and it was really icy because of the
Yeah.
dust on the road. And yeah, they have to wash the track using the water cannon truck every
Damn.
morning,
Yeah.
just because we're out in the middle of the desert and um, exposed to the environment. Strong winds, the winds pick up sand, dust from the surrounding area,
And
deposit it
just
on the
chuck it.
road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to clean the road every day.
Yeah.
But I love this road. It's very fun, very playful. It really feels um, like a dedicated track, man. I mean, we have the gondola there leading up to a ski resort, and when they close the road off for us,
Hmm.
it feels very secure, and you can take many different lines through it, and obviously, if there's only one fast line down the track,
Hmm.
and it's just very fun to basically maximize entry points, the
Exactly.
speed, and
Yeah.
just feathering it and learning it and staying in control.
Is it,
So
does the speed not scare you at all? Like you guys are going fast, you're carrying so much speed to each corner. Like,
um,
is it not?
I would say
Yeah, sorry.
because the road is wide, you have two lanes to work with, right?
Hmm.
The challenge mainly comes from if the track hasn't been properly cleaned. But if they properly clean it, it's pretty safe, I would say.
Hmm.
But if you push it too hard, you can still slide just because the dust could come back at any time. So it's all about finding the edge of grip, the limit of grip, um, and trusting your setup, trusting the amount of grip that your wheels have, the
Hmm.
lines that you're taking. Um, uh, yeah, I would
Yeah,
say it's very fun.
I like it. I like it. It seems you're the high risk was what's the word? I know high risk. How scary it is doesn't phase you, which is pretty cool, I think. Because
Well,
that yeah,
it's unique, I would say. Like it's not as
yeah.
fast as Austria. Austria, you're staying tucked. I got a top speed of 124 k's
Hmm.
per hour in Austria. Um, but as long as you're apexing the left and right edges of the road in Austria, you can pretty much stay tucked all the way.
Yeah.
Um, and for a luge, what I mean by that is having your helmet on the headrest. But in Turkey, there isn't really like a straight that you could stay tucked for long like that,
Hmm.
especially leading into the turn 9, the left where I crashed at.
Yeah.
Uh, that right sweeper is a really long sweeper, and it's unique because you're doing over 100K, but you're still leaning, and it's really challenging to stay on the right side of the road,
Yeah.
going high speed, and yeah,
Man,
because you're not exactly tucked, you're just hanging on for dear life.
I don't know, man. This is pretty intense stuff. But now that the clip is on the screen, tell us about like your interesting braking technique. Like you're the only one who uses this. Um, that you called it the showstopper earlier. Like it's pretty cool. Do you actually get like a lot more braking
Oh
doing
yeah.
it? Yeah, way
Um,
more. Yeah.
um, what is unique is, I mean, most tracks that we race on,
Hmm.
I only do the showstopper once.
Yeah.
But here you can see I'm doing it twice. and I think it's equivalent to the stand-up guys doing 2 pendies or 1 pendy and then
Mm.
a toe side pre-drift. Um, just because we're, this approaching turn six. So this is turn six.
Yeah.
Um, I'm basically doing about 90 to 95 Ks into this turn. And to take this turn as fast as possible, you need to slow down to about 30 Ks per hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing 90 to 30, and doing one showstopper isn't enough because one showstopper basically I slow down to about 60, and then I need to do another one to basically get down to about 30 to make the turn. And I'm still coming out close to the edge of the road when
Yeah.
after apex on the inside and coming out wide on the exit.
Hmm.
So it's a very unique turn that isn't really found anywhere else in the world, and I really enjoy it.
What are some disadvantages to braking this way? Like, does it limit your steering? Does it what sort of risks are there? Is it because no one else is really doing it that I've seen, at least this past season?
I think the risk here is now in hindsight when I look back at the crash,
Yeah.
is that if you and it's probably compounded by trucks that have spherical pivots.
Hmm.
Because unlike urethane pivots, urethane pivots have more give, they're more forgiving, right?
Yeah.
So if I were to slam the trucks down on a urethane pivot and I immediately lean to turn,
Hmm.
the trucks would probably respond without any issues. But if you have a spherical pivot in there, you have to be careful because if you jam it back down the road, you could potentially lock up that spherical. And
Mm.
I think that's what happened to me in um, in 2024's crash and in Austria when I missed the apex. So yeah, that's a I think that's a disadvantage, which I'm probably picking up on.
Yeah.
So I think if you do it, you have to bring the board back down gently,
Hmm.
continue going straight for a bit, and then turn. So you gotta um, give yourself enough time to actually put it back down, go
Yeah.
straight, and then do the turn. Yeah,
Damn.
I think that's
Okay.
the key.
Dude, it's pretty sick though
But
to see. Yeah. It's one of my favorite
it's
things. Yeah.
basically a tool in a bag of tricks, you could say. Like you gotta use the right tool for for when the application demands it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't use it everywhere. Different corners require different braking techniques or different
Yeah.
ways to slow down. Yeah, whichever is the most efficient. And for this corner, this was the double showstopper was the most efficient for me.
Gotcha. What else did you pull out of your bag of tricks to win Turkey? Because you did it again, man. Yeah.
Basically, I would say I wanted to come back with a vengeance, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't race in 2024 on the track. I got hurt. I got injured. So I ended up commentating the race with Ian that year.
Yeah.
Um, so this year I was just like, okay, I'm gonna push out in front and basically do my own thing, treat it like a qualifying run,
Yeah.
and see what I can do here. Because I knew that in 2024, I wanted to get into a safe position where I didn't have to battle anyone.
Hmm.
Because if you remember in 2024, Colby made a pass on 2 guys entering turn 6. So I
Yeah.
knew that, if he was gonna, if someone was gonna do that, it was gonna be Colby, and he was in the final. So I
Yeah.
just made sure that I was able to get to that turn first without having to worry about traffic, coming from behind me. So,
Mm.
but it was amazing to see Ulrich, having me in his sights.
Yeah. Yeah. Ulrich did keep a nice sort of distance, which I thought was pretty cool. And he is getting way better. He is getting
Oh
better.
yeah,
He is improving. I think this year is
yeah,
gonna
he
be a
beat
bit.
me in the first qualifying run.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was very surprised, but I wasn't that surprised. I knew
Yeah.
that he's getting faster. He's he knows what he's doing. He's got his own secrets too.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah.
the episode hasn't yet dropped, but we were talking about his aero tunnel experience at the Silverstone that was set up by the WGSF, and it's really really cool.
Uh,
Some of the things he was saying. So we'll see how he implements all of that this year. Very very cool. But yeah, man. Turkey again, your second win. How did this one feel?
oh, it felt great to be back on top.
Yeah.
To finish this as flawlessly as I could.
Hmm.
And I basically surprised myself again because I actually beat the track record during the final.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, you really put some distance on there, bro. You really put the jets on. That's pretty cool. So at this point, you've won two races. Isle of Man was coming up. You skipped Isle of Man, and and you headed into Utah, right?
Yeah.
But Utah had the deepest field in this year's season, with the most people attending. What was your mindset coming to Utah?
Oh, I was really excited going to Utah
Hmm.
because I knew Andy Lally was going to be there and
Yeah,
he would be my main competition. But the thing is, like, he had stopped racing street luge for close to 10 years.
yeah,
And because, his NASCAR racing contracts basically prohibited him from doing street luge or racing street luge.
yeah,
And he was busy with managing. I think he started managing the series a bit later, towards the end of his career
yeah,
when he basically retired from racing. But when he got back into it, basically, you know, um, he admitted to me that he doesn't practice at home. I
yeah.
mean, there's just not many good hills around where he lives. Um, but I found it funny because he messaged me, I think, in 2024, like on what trucks people are riding these days, and what wheels
Yeah,
people are riding these days, because he had been out of it for 10 years, right? Because the last time he was racing Centrax.
yeah. That's funny. He wanted the info downloads. Yeah.
Yeah. um, but yeah, you had a very strong feel, I would say, like you rightly mentioned,
Hmm.
I guess, with the luge turnout, because for the championship tour, I can't recall how many there were, but I think there's
Hmm.
probably 6 to 8 of us. And then in the QS, there were a lot more. So, the QS was interesting to see riders advancing from the QS into the CT.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there was also a QS and a CT race, at the earlier rounds too. But Utah was spectacular, and to see the progression and the skill level that
Yeah.
people are coming in, showing up to the race.
How did you find the track though?
Oh, I love the track as well. It's got 4 hairpins. The
Hmm.
first three are pretty similar in terms of speed, and then the last one is the real doozy. It's the one I've been having problems with during practice because,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, it's um, there were runs where I basically did not grip that turn, and I
Right.
would slide out, and I think it has to do with the surface.
Hmm.
Um, it's very smooth, and it's crazy because you would think that a very smooth track is a very grippy, but
Hmm.
I found it to be quite the opposite. I mean, only for that last turn, because it was a hit or miss thing, right? Um, but it's on the slower end of the circuit. I
Hmm.
mean, we started off going
Austria. Yeah.
from Austria, from a very high speed track, and then the max speeds were gradually decreasing.
Yeah.
Um, but
Getting more
it didn't.
challenging. Yeah.
It basically made it more challenging, and more fun because people are going to be closer to each other now.
Yeah. Did you change your setup at all? Because this turn seemed tighter. So
Yeah, the
yeah.
my baseline 25 degrees didn't really work on this track. I think I increased the angle to 30 or 35, I think, and I
Mm,
just stuck with that number. Yeah. Um,
that's interesting. Yeah. That's
yeah.
actually pretty cool. I like for stand up at least these days, a lot of people are changing their setups between tracks. Like in the past, it was less common, so it's really fun to learn about this in street luge as well. And yeah, man,
Yeah.
talk us through how you sort of built up your qualifying run, your race. Tell us how you built up, like finding your breaking points and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew that Utah was going to be challenging,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I wanted to do testing of wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And I traveled to this race with um, basically one fresh set of mango alphas, a fresh set of plum alphas, a fresh set of green deltas, and a fresh set of yellow deltas.
Yeah.
And I had the alphas from like a couple of years back, and I just wanted to like go through them before I start committing to modern, the latest
Racing.
offering, the latest product. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the races we have a timing system, and I could actually push these wheels to the limit and see how much more of an advantage the delta has over the alpha. I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
see the results for myself.
And
So
what was the delta?
okay, I can share this with you because the information is there if on the my race result website.
Yeah.
um, So, at WDSC races for the championship tour,
Mm-hmm.
we do the Q1, Q2, Q3 qualifying format.
Yeah.
I started off Q1 on the fresh mango alphas,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, I I was in second place behind Andy Lally. I think the gap between him and me was about a second, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And then, but the gap between me and Ulrich was very close. Like I think it was on the order of the hundredths of a second.
Mm-hmm.
Um, after the Q1 was done, so we head over into Q2. I put on fresh plum alphas, improved my Q1 time by about point 0.3 or point 0.4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I was still in second place, and Andy Lally hadn't done anything. Like he was still on basically his practice wheels. The
Yeah.
gap was still about a second, but I already started building up a lead over Ulrich, delta wise. And then finally for Q3, I put on green deltas,
Yeah.
and basically I shaved off another second off my Q2 time. And
That's
then I got
pretty insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was basically now, instead of a second behind Andy Lally, I was about, I think, zero point 0.4 seconds behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it just goes to show that, a bigger, wider wheel, it has that much more grip and more speed than the smaller, narrower Alpha. So
Did you feel that?
it was,
Did you feel that in the corners? Like that grip difference? More G forces?
I,
Yeah.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm already starting to feel like if I were to ride Alphas, on any track they were racing on today,
Mm-hmm.
it just isn't competitive anymore. And what's really fun, like me coming back to this race in Utah,
Mm-hmm.
like my last race in the US was 10 years ago, 2016. So,
Mm.
and my visa had expired during that
Yeah.
time, so I had to renew my visa. But it was really great to be back in the U.S. and meet a lot of the American riders. So Chase Hiller was there. He's also a Team Seismic rider.
Yeah.
And yeah, he basically like, are you still riding your pro model wheel? And he said, hell no.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, he said like those are basically training wheels. Like the analogy is like you practice on, put yourself at a disadvantage. It's like you're training with a weight vest on you in the gym, and then
Yeah.
you take that weight vest off, and you're on modern equipment. It feels so much easier.
It's really interesting to see the difference. And I mean, the plums are still goated in my opinion. And the fact that you're able to stay competitive, that also says a lot about how good of a rider you are. So, yeah.
Thank
But
you.
were you fortunate or unfortunate having done your qualifying run before everybody else? And then having like that
Um,
super long break?
so it's something that might not be apparent from the live stream,
Mm-hmm.
is that um, in the first two qualifying runs, basically Andy, Lally, Ulrich, and I, the three of us would try to go as a group together. Like,
Yeah.
so we would have the same weather conditions, and we're not that far off as far as timing goes. But what ended up happening is after we had done our second qualifying run and we come back up to the top because we're coming up via the chairlift, is that when we get back up to the top, there's still people going down the road and we have no idea what's going on, like, or what sort of order it was. We just knew that um, if you're in the top X, and that X depends on on the category. I think for stand up it's probably the top 10 or something because they do the top 10 shootout.
Mm-hmm.
And Street Luge having smaller numbers, they don't do top 10. They typically do a top 8 or top 6 or whatever that number ends up being. Um, so the three of us, Andy, Ulrich, and I, we again group up at the start line and basically just waiting to go. And we thought that basically it was our turn to go because no more stand-up guys were going down the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I decided to go first instead of Andy going first. Um, and what ended up happening was uh, Chris um, of the WGSF, like he was still, his laptop is still set up for the stand-up Q2 time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what ended up happening was I go down, and because he's still running his stand-up Q2 file, is that when I crossed the line for my Q3 run, that Q3 run had actually overwritten my Q2 time, so no one actually saw what my Q2 time was. Um,
Right.
so my Q3 time was inserted into the Q2 slot, and then that's what people saw, and they assumed that was my Q2 time.
Right.
And my Q3 time was like a blank, and people thought I missed that run.
Yeah.
Um, and after my Q3 time, basically a bunch of the top stand-up guys showed up from nowhere, and it's like, hey, we haven't done our Q2 run yet. So basically, I was the only loser that basically interrupted that their run because I went
Yeah.
in their file, and so they had to resume the stand up and basically pushed Andy and Ulrich out of the way, and I think they ran a couple of guys, and then it started to rain.
Yeah.
So Andy was pissed.
Yeah. I can
Yeah, so
imagine.
basically
Yeah.
they waited it out until the track dried up, and Utah is pretty fortunate where we're out in the desert, and it rained pretty lightly, but yeah, it was still they had to wait half an hour or so, and I think they ended up playing replays, from previous seasons episodes,
Yeah. I
and that
remember.
filled up yeah,
I was in
it
the
filled
live
up the
chat.
entire slot, and
Yeah.
that basically gave enough time for the track to dry up, and then they started their Q3 qualifying run.
Mm. So, but you don't feel like that puts you at a disadvantage at all? Like, not really.
Surprisingly, no.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't know. The gap between me and Andy was like 0.4 seconds with a delay,
Mm-hmm.
and it was probably my first run um, down Park City with the yellow deltas.
Yeah.
So obviously I haven't pushed the wheel yet to its limit. So
Yeah.
I knew that I could make up for it. When race day came.
And race day was a lot of fun. It was very, very entertaining. The street loose races were a highlight to see. I
Yeah, I'm
remember
really stoked about that.
yeah, you guys really put on a show, and everyone appreciated that. Um, yeah, so talk us through your race, man. Uh,
Okay, so this is the quarterfinal. I think there was supposed to have been four riders in the heat. I
mhm,
had two girls, Sabrina Sparkles and Laureline Pastor.
yeah.
Laureline she was just done with the women's race, and she ended up like not wanting to race this quarterfinal, so
Hmm.
she dropped out. Um, and I guess I just took this as like a warm up or practice run.
Yeah.
Um,
Disappeared into the distance.
but I knew that
Yeah.
Nick Kamink, I think he's a regular racer on the east coast of the U.S.
Hmm.
Shows up to Soldiers of Downhill, Acme Downhill. I don't think he's traveled over to Europe, but he has done the World Skate Games in Argentina.
Yeah.
He was Colby's teammate, and I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah. I would agree, but you stayed out ahead. You two progressed, and we got into the semifinals, I think. And now this is where,
Semis,
yeah.
yeah. So in the semis, I knew that he's gonna be pushing a lot harder than in the quarters.
Hmm.
So because when I was pushing off from from the inside, I could still see I could still see him up to my left,
Yeah.
seeing the orange leathers. Yeah, very striking color. Was basically, just had to stay out in front and then see what happens here. And then Ulrich basically had to fight to get past him.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting to see.
But out in front, what's sort of going through your mind? Are you like thinking up strategies? Are you thinking, oh, I need to take this line? Like, what's sort of going through your mind as you luge down?
So for the quarters and semis, I
Yeah.
basically ditched whatever wheels I was using for qualifying. So I straight away used yellow deltas.
Hmm.
But for the quarters and semis, I didn't put on fresh ones. I just stayed with some used ones from Turkey.
Yeah.
So I think they helped me progress. And strangely enough, I was able to grip the last hairpin without any issues in the quarters and the
Mm.
semis.
Yeah.
And I think it was either the quarter or the semi because we were wearing transponders even in the race. So I looked at my time from, I think it must have been the quarter, but basically I had the fastest time. So um, I think I beat Andy's time from his race from his race
Qualifying.
quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, not his qualifying run, but from his race run, because I think he
Okay.
was taking his quarterfinal a bit easier, and then I just wanted to push myself in the
Yeah.
quarters to see what I could accomplish.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I'm saving the freshies for the final.
And yeah, the finals was intense, I'd say. This is the finals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was intense, man. Did you feel any sort of pressure lining up against Andy?
None whatsoever. I just
Yeah.
knew that if I could beat him to the first corner, that I would command, control the line, control the position,
Hmm.
and I knew that okay. Um, I think the lane that I picked was the right lane
Right.
because it allowed me to be on the inside. But the thing is, like, you have to really outpush uh, somebody if you want to get there first.
Yeah.
And I knew that, yeah, he basically, I think, had an almost equal push as me.
Hmm.
And this is coming from a guy who's like um, 7 years older than me.
Yeah. I mean, that's not that bad. 7 years is a
Yeah.
7 years more time to train, technically. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like he does Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so I knew that's
Yeah.
where he gets his power from. So it's really nice to see that he hasn't lost his touch, being out of the sport for 10 years.
Yeah.
Um, so for me to get out in the front, like I've never been in front of Andy Lally in a race where I've raced him before, like you know,
Yeah.
in the past, and we go back a long way. So this was really sweet to be in front of him.
Yeah. So come on, you didn't feel any type of pressure. Your mind wasn't affected in any way. Like
None, no
none.
pressure. Absolutely, I thought I was doing
Yeah.
like I had everything under control here. Like everything worked out perfectly. I had done everything right.
Yeah.
Um, apexing it here. I'm getting close to the inside.
Yeah. It was pretty
Um,
sweet. Yeah.
and I had no idea how close he was here. It probably doesn't look close. Um,
On the
I
stream.
guess when the
Yeah.
drone zooms out, it looks close.
So yeah, what happened in the last corner though?
Oh, yeah, I'm so bummed here. But basically, I slid out here,
Yeah.
which was really frustrating because I knew that it happened before in the practice runs,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't happen to me in the quarters and the semis. And
Yeah.
for it to happen to me in the final was really frustrating to say the least.
Yeah.
I did everything I could. I hit the inside apex, and then I told myself, and I was mentally telling myself this, like, please don't slide out, please don't slide out, because I knew it
Yeah.
happened in practice, right?
Yeah.
And it happened. Like it just like, why did this have to happen in the final now, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you watch somebody's live stream, I think it was Billy Foss, he was filming from the last corner. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was basically saying the same thing, like, he's washing out, he's washing out.
And you watched that. Yeah. So what
Yeah,
happened? Just the line you took or just some setup?
yeah. I think there's
Yeah.
probably a couple of issues here. One
Yeah.
is it's the final. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more pressure on you,
Yeah.
um, on me. So I knew that we had to go in deep and dive into the apex,
Mm-hmm.
to try and get there and not let the other guy dive in on the inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also, I mentioned earlier, this surface is unique.
Yeah.
Park City is very smooth, and one thing I learned is that, I mean, when stand-up guys, when they put fresh wheels on, and then they scrub their wheels on the ground before they take off.
Yeah.
So that's something I think Kevin Reimer started doing, and I started seeing at Kozakov like more than 10 years ago, when he was doing that with these wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was something that stand-up guys need to do because they're relying on the wheels for their braking, right? Because they're sliding, and street leaders don't do that, don't have the need to do that.
Yeah.
And whenever I put fresh wheels on for a final or for whatever heat,
Mm-hmm.
I put them straight off out of the shrink wrap.
Yeah.
And for the most part, most of the tracks that we race on are, the pavement is rough enough that it scrubs off the skin to the point where you can grip the turns, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's not the case of Park City, because putting on a
I
fresh
see.
wheel out of the shrink wrap onto a smooth surface, it's like you walking onto a slippery bathroom floor.
I see. So lesson learned.
I think that's probably one of the
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so now I'm gonna follow the ritual where people put their wheels in the dishwasher and wash the wheels to get
Yeah.
the glaze off the surface. So
Yeah. So for people at home who don't know what's up, it's they put the wheels in the dishwasher to wash off the mold release, which is like this oily chemical they use to remove the wheels from the mold. What else? Yeah, and and the companies do wash that mold release off, but sometimes they don't do a perfect job. So if you're racing and you have a little bit of mold release, you can limit how much grip and how much speed you can carry through a corner. So yeah,
I
damn man,
don't know if the manufacturers actually wash the wheels. Do they?
yeah, they do. I've had some really oily wheels before where the manufacturer didn't do a good job, and they were fresh. I went out, I skated them, and I was like, "Are fresh wheels supposed to slide like this?" Because there was just no grip. But yeah, they do wash
Okay.
them. Yeah, they do wash them, which is
And then you notice a difference riding them after you wash them?
sometimes yes, sometimes no. But it's just good practice to always wash them just to have that consistency and not leave anything to chance. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you ever be down to develop a wheel specifically for street luge, like working with the manufacturer, or are you happy with whatever is out on the market at the moment?
I mean, I'm a team rider for Seismic, and
Yeah,
I think the Delta is probably their best wheel that they've released.
yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense because you got to compete with the Magnum. It's been used with success for many years now,
hmm,
and a lot of wheel manufacturers are closing the gap. And hats off to Frenchie for winning the championship on deltas and
yeah.
putting a huge lead over the others in qualifying. Um,
Yeah, he was insane. Yeah,
yeah, but you're talking about wheel development.
yeah,
Andy Lally was telling me that
hmm,
because he's a race car driver, right? And he knows what's up when it comes to wheels. So he had a friend of his. Like he wanted a really wide wheel, a really tall wheel, something
hmm,
almost like the 83 by 78 millimeter Centrax, and he wanted them really super soft in a
yeah,
really soft aero. So unfortunately, no wheel manufacturer was going to make him this wheel.
hmm,
So apparently, he got one of his science buddies or something from his race from the auto industry, who offered to pour him a wheel or like a prototype.
yeah,
And that wheel, I can't remember the specs, but he was telling me the Duro was something crazy. It was something like below 78 Duro. It was like in the 60s.
yeah. Interesting.
So it
Yeah,
was like really super gummy, super sticky, but it didn't last very long. So I
yeah,
guess there's a trade-off to how soft you can go. 'Cause you need to balance the properties of the wheel to make it competitive and
hmm,
long-lasting and fast. So um, Seismic, they don't like to rush when they release a new product. They really like to geek out on the science, and it's good that Dan of Seismic has good team riders on his team now
hmm.
who are
So,
really pushing the envelope and yeah, really skating um, almost every day, every weekend to figure out what works.
so you're saying potentially there could be something in the works? Maybe. Am I reading into it wrong?
I don't know because I don't live in the U.S. If
Yeah,
I was living in Colorado, I'd probably have the
yeah,
inside scoop, right?
yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I've never ridden any prototype wheels before the Deltas were released. Um,
Right.
Whereas other riders like Ryan Farmer had gotten some prototypes, Sabrina, but that's because she lives in Colorado. So a bunch of
Yeah,
people wrote prototypes, including Adrian. So I think I'm the only team rider that did not write prototypes.
yeah,
But you know, I made up for it by riding alphas to their limit and making them work for me.
yeah. Well, speaking of interesting wheel, what's the word? Interesting wheels. Colby in the finals of El Salvador, which we'll get to, made it very, very interesting because he had a set of unique wheels, and we do talk about that in the interview I had with him. But before you get there, man, how did you find El Salvador? How did you like it? Like, tell us your experience from coming in to the airport to having such a massive sort of festival type setup, the roads. Tell us.
So El Salvador was great.
Yeah,
The journey was a very long one for me.
I can
Um,
imagine, man. Yeah.
so I had to fly in from the US, and I had a 17-hour layover in Atlanta.
Hmm.
And funny thing is, Andy Lally lives around Atlanta, an hour away.
Yeah.
And his flight, I think he was supposed to fly in the day after me. And then what ended up happening, there was some miscommunication. Some of the stand-up guys thought the event would have started on a Thursday, like it was going to be a 4-day event.
Yeah.
And so Andy was just going to show up on Thursday, the day after, and until the skaters were talking about that possibility.
Yeah.
So he changed his flight to a day earlier, and I told him like, it's always been a 3-day event. It was never going to be 4 days. Like,
Hmm.
I would like to get there on a Wednesday so that we could walk the track on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, a day before we start riding it on Friday. So that's what ended up happening. He changed his flight, and then turns out we were on the same flight together. So he
Mhm. Yeah.
he drove over to the airport early in the morning. I was there waiting in the lounge, waiting for him to show up. And it was the second time I saw him again after Utah. But unlike Utah, um, I didn't travel with him in Utah. But for El
Hmm.
Salvador, we were traveling together. So it was really interesting and fun to
Yeah.
get into his mindset, the way he thinks, and basically
Yeah.
getting to know him better, because I've
Yeah.
never had that opportunity to travel with him.
Yeah.
So we flew from Atlanta to San Salvador, which is like 3.5 hours away, and we
Hmm.
get there, and it was really hot and humid. So it's a far cry from Atlanta, where I guess it's winter is just setting in.
Hmm.
Um, and in some ways I felt like El Salvador is hotter than Malaysia. Um, or,
Possibly. Yeah. Good. Let's
well,
see. Yeah.
yeah, because they're closer to the ocean, and ocean weather, basically high humidity. But it was cool. We landed at the
Yeah.
airport, and we step off the plane in the lounge, and basically we see the staff at the airport, and this one girl, her name is Fatima.
Hmm.
She was holding a sign with my name on it.
Do you expect that or no?
Mm, I sort of, well, I didn't expect my name on it, but
Yeah.
I was expecting like someone holding a WDSC play card, and then riders would just look out for that play card. But it had my
Yeah.
name on it, so that was pretty cool. Felt like a
Yeah.
VIP, and they treated us like one.
Yeah.
Walked through the airport, and basically, what ended up happening was I didn't know that I was going to be traveling with Andy.
Hmm.
So he had already booked the rental car, but I had already booked a shuttle with the organizers, because
Yeah.
I wanted to take advantage of the fact that they're providing this shuttle, the service.
Hmm.
So I ended up riding a van with them, and it was cool. It was fun. We stopped at a nice seaside restaurant, served really good food, and but it was a pretty late lunch.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, Andy had already reached the hotel, and turns out we were staying at the same place. So it worked out, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So
um,
the racetrack was at, was it Tamanique?
Dominique, yeah,
Yeah, Tamanique. And you guys were staying where?
and we were staying close to the coast. It's called. Try to zoom in. I'm trying to recall the name. God, what do they call that place? Try to zoom in some more, like where you see the
Yeah.
El Sunzal.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, somewhere here.
okay, Tunco. We were staying in
Tunco.
Tunco.
Was it far
Yeah,
from the racetrack?
it's about 20 to 30 minutes drive.
Oh, not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if I was on the organizer's shuttle,
Hmm.
like, you had to be in a specific spot in town to get in
Yeah.
the shuttles, and they would leave early. Um, so if you didn't have your own car, like, you'd be screwed if you missed this shuttle,
Yeah.
right? and even if it's your own car, like we still needed to leave early. So like Andy and I would like basically plan the night before, like, okay, we're gonna be leaving in the morning at this time. We'll try to get there before the shuttles get there, because it's once you're at the hill, there's
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of parking space. It's
Right.
really tight. So you have to park your car along the edges of the road, or if you park inside, then you get locked in. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, it wasn't ideal. I mean, it's a nice track, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it can support that many riders. Like we had 100 over riders like for the first year. I think if we go
Yeah.
back there this year again, like they have to either limit the numbers or figure out a situation with the shuttles and
Yeah.
parking. Yeah.
Yeah. This is pretty cool, man. I love. I'd love to travel South America one day, man. Yeah, man. But I heard they messed up the what do you call it? Pavement. What was that like on the street luge? Messed up or not messed up? Repaved the pavement with chip seal. Yeah, what was that experience like, man, on the street luge? Just like figuring it out, learning to race there. Yeah,
I think the first day was probably the worst because
yeah,
it's everyone's first run down this new pavement.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, it was chattery. Um, but I guess the vibrations weren't too bad. I think we basically drove over it enough times, ridden over it enough times,
Mm-hmm.
where on the next couple of days it didn't feel as bad.
Yeah.
Um, but because it's such a narrow road,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's also cool that they fully line it left to right all the way from top to bottom,
Yeah.
and still had an excess, hay bales that are unutilized. Really protected this track because this track demanded it. The max speed is only, I think, 70 k's an hour. I have to go
Mm-hmm.
back and look at my GPS data. Um, so it's the slowest track as far as max speeds go, of the 2025 WDSC circuit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, I would say, probably one of the most technical and most challenging, because I guess it's very steep in between the corners and they're all linked together.
Yeah.
Um, so the acceleration going from corner to corner is pretty fast and intense, and you don't
Yeah.
have much time to think. You're just trying to get set up for every corner, and I'm braking with both shoes as I'm cornering, so it's like it's not it's not ideal. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
fastest way to get down the track, but it was kind of necessary to do so, because otherwise you're gonna be taking the corners too fast and then ended up
Yeah.
missing the apex or something and crashing the hay bales.
Yeah, man. Pretty unique track. Have you ever
Yeah.
skated anything like that before? Like where you have to where there's so many corners that you have to brake while steering and like or
Um,
yeah.
I would say, as far as the tracks that really work out your core,
Mm-hmm.
Tagaytay in the Philippines was one such track, because
Yeah.
it's all the corners are very close together and you're constantly turning. There's hardly any straight.
Yeah.
Over here in Dominica, at least there are some straights that you can actually use to your advantage to relax.
Right.
I think the first straight is
Mm.
basically the uphill section,
Yeah.
which is basically this one that's coming up. Yeah, so this is turn 4,
Yeah.
and this part here is the first straight that you could basically use to relax, and there's an uphill section.
Mm. So is
So this is
that
the slowest.
like a challenge in itself? Like physically? Um
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Sector 1,
Mm-hmm.
basically they broke this track into 3 sectors. So sector 1 was basically done after turn 4, leading up into the uphill. The
Mm-hmm.
second sector was basically the crazy gnarly shit. So that's the one with the double left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on a luge, you can't really see around these turns because the two stack of hay bales basically blocks your view. You can't see around the corner.
Yeah.
You better pray that someone hasn't crashed on the exit of that corner.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy actually. So okay, one other thing that just popped into my mind. How do you then like figure out your breaking points? Because everything just looks so samey, like literally just looks like a tunnel with all the hay bales. Like how do you know like okay, I gotta start like breaking here. This is my apex, or is it ever confusing with how like the track is set up, or no?
Yeah, the thing is like,
Yeah,
yeah, they picked a really good road for a world championship tour race.
yeah,
But I guess they're trying to get a lot of the South Americans, the Latin Americans to,
hmm,
it's their first race on their continent, basically, in their part of the world.
yeah,
Um, so obviously they're trying to build a stoke, and there's not many CT riders showing up. So obviously you need to open it up to the QS.
hmm,
Now, when you add up all the numbers together and you have 100 overriders on a short hill where logistically it's very difficult to turn the shuttles around,
yeah,
really cramped space. Everything needs to move like clockwork here in order to get things going. We don't have much time. Like we have to be there early um, because the sun sets early. The sun sets at about 6 p.m. every day in the
mm.
summer.
In the
So
summer, yeah, that's brutal. Yeah,
yeah, I know. So what that means is that you're not going to have a lot of practice.
hmm,
Like the first day of practice on Friday, I managed to get only 5 practice runs in.
yeah,
And I don't know about the other guys, but basically you had to like, once you're at the top of the hill, you basically, everyone's just beelining to the start line and
yeah,
cutting each other off, trying to be the first one to go down. Like there's no etiquette, no order. Because
yeah,
if everyone were to wait, like, yeah, it's going to take forever to go, right? And that happened on the first day.
hmm,
And, this Dominique track is a track where, yeah, every practice run counts because it's just so challenging.
yeah,
But I think things improved on the second day where some sort of etiquette was established. It's basically like at a skate park when skaters, show up to the mini ramp. Everyone basically waits for someone to drop in, and then everyone waits and hangs back,
yeah,
till the guy bails, and then the next guy comes in. So that's pretty much how we went about doing it when we started practicing on the second day.
hmm.
But obviously, yeah, all the top guys would be the ones like hogging the start line, and can't blame them.
Yeah,
Like, there's a championship to be won here, so
yeah.
we did the same thing.
How did that feel? I mean, you had your two wins, Austria, Turkey. Oh, yeah, okay, wait. Well, you had practically won already, right? Or no? Won the
um,
championship. Yeah.
I think so
Yeah.
because Ulrich had won Isle of Man,
Mm,
and the way the points worked out was, I think with my second place in Utah,
hmm,
like regardless of what happened in El Salvador, I would have won the championship anyway. So
yeah.
my goal here was just to try and have fun. And if I win El Salvador, then I get a perfect score for the season. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it wasn't to be. And I guess we can talk about it when you start showing
We'll start
footage from the
showing,
race.
yeah, how the race went. The race was all time, man. The race was all time, I have to say. Damn. Wait, I gotta see. Okay, we'll come back to that. So yeah, let's talk about the race. How was your qualifying? Was it difficult to get a good time?
Okay, so what was interesting about the
Hmm.
qualifying here is that um, Andy Lally and I missed our first qualifying run,
Right. What
believe
happened?
it or not. Um, what happened? We were chilling at the tent, and we were just basically waiting for
Yeah.
the QS racers to come down to the tent. after their finals were done, and then we would hop onto the shuttle. But apparently, again, this is miscommunication, which will probably be improved for for the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they didn't announce this, but apparently at the start, at the top of the hill, they were telling the QS losers who were in the final that once you cross the finish line, get onto the pickup truck, and then we'll bring you guys back up to the top. Now, this
Right.
pickup truck was parked right near the finish line. It wasn't where Andy and I were hanging out. We were in the rider tent,
Mm-hmm.
more comfortable there, and we were working on our boards, getting ready for the qualifying, and then we were just waiting there for quite some time, and then we were wondering what's going on, and then Andy decides to go to the media tent,
Yeah.
where the Salim's crew is, but Salim wasn't there. But one of his crew was there, and then we started asking, "Hey, what's going on? Like, when do we go up?" And then they radioed the top, and I think Salim was at the top and said, "You guys missed your qualifying run."
Yeah.
And then we're like, "What? Okay." Now the other thing is, because there weren't many losers,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't do the Q1, Q2, Q3 format.
Right.
They ended up doing best of two qualifying runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
that
still
meant
worked
that
out.
it
Yeah.
didn't matter. Yeah, we missed the first run, and I think the other losers who basically took the first qualifying run,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't worth it for them either, because they didn't have time to change wheels or anything. Like when they were at the top waiting,
Yeah.
like they were told, like, "Hey, it's your first qualifying run, go." And yeah, they had to run whatever they had at the top. So basically it was like a warm-up run for them.
Mm-hmm. So having all those riders really was a logistics and organizational problem. Yeah, I see what you're saying now. There's a lot going on. There's too
Yeah,
much going on. They need more days, essentially.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it needs to be a 4-day event, or
Yeah.
they need to restrict the numbers, or improve the communication, or do everything, like do all three.
Yeah.
We're going back there this year, so it'll be very interesting to see how they manage. I mean, every time you're at a new location, you're learning, right?
Yeah.
So things will improve, and when you have a limited window for the sunlight, like every
Yeah.
minute counts. Yeah.
That's tricky.
Um,
Yeah. Damn, 6
so
p.m. sunset. That is in the summer. That is pretty wild. I wonder how bad it is during the winter.
yeah, it's pitch dark when it's 6. Like there's no street lights out there.
Yeah.
And we were just so tired at the end of the day, we just want to go back to the hotel and take a shower and get dinner.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I mean, the organizing crew from the El Salvador government, like they really put
Yeah.
on a show for us, and really, I think that compensated for the event's shortcomings. But
Yeah. This year,
yeah,
this year is gonna be better, man. They're gonna have the lessons they learned and bring it all together. I think it's gonna
exactly.
be
Like
sick. Yeah.
never been so welcome there. The
Yeah.
food there is awesome. We were really well taken care of, well fed. Hotel rooms are paid for, so
Pretty sweet.
really looking forward to going back. Yeah.
Nice, man. You guys heard it here, man. El Salvador is sweet. So attend if you can. So yeah, man, let's talk about your semi-finals. Let's see if you can get it on the screen. This heat had a bit more going on with it. Fred LaBerge was right up behind you. Tell us, man.
So yeah, this is the first corner that typically
Mm-hmm.
I brake for in practice, but in the race, when in qualifying, you don't need to brake for it. But I think I tapped just a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I guess, turn 3. It's a double right apex. I do a medium strength brake over there, just enough to get around and stay on the inside to do the double rights. And then entering turn 4, I tap, but really you don't need to tap in qualifying or racing. But I just wanted to be cautious because it's a blind corner. I can't see around the hay bales, and I don't want to hit the hay bales on the exit.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting here is that Rose managed to get really close to Fred here. That was totally unexpected. And shout outs to Rose for for putting some pressure on Fred there.
Shout out. Yeah. Well, man, you managed to stay out in front and you managed to make it into the finals, which was pretty eventful in its own way. There was a lot of rain, started raining, but you guys decided to run your race. Was there like less risk involved with street luge? I know you guys couldn't see how which sections of the road were actually patchy, given how fresh the road was. What was the thought process behind running the race?
So I would say the rain wasn't heavy at all. It was sprinkling, right? It's enough to make you concerned and make you like, oh, it's this is not good.
Yeah.
So it was just irritating, I would say, annoying, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously we take a ride down the track with the truck to check it out. And, I think the guys on the Axle to Axle podcast talked about it. But because of this new pavement, like you couldn't really tell if the road was wet or not. Because I remember in a practice run, like a bunch of stand-up guys crashed in turn 2 really early because apparently there was some oil on the track that was left by one of the vehicles. And without warning, they just crashed.
Damn.
And the thing is, if there was a little bit amount of water here, like it could probably throw a spanner in the works too.
Yeah.
And we all voted. I guess it was a 50-50 vote, and we have to put on a show, and everyone has rain wheels on except me.
Yeah. Damn.
Because
Yeah.
I felt like the road wasn't wet enough to warrant rain wheels, and I knew that if I push out in front, I could probably control, the race from the start. But because no one had taken a practice run down, like who knows what's going to happen, right? So we're just playing chicken here. So I brake here, and then Andy takes advantage of that because in a normal race, if it was totally dry, I would not have done that.
Yeah. So it's just basically taking a risk, like each turn. It's a lottery. You don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. And here, because Andy passed me coming out of turn 2, I actually ended up braking at a point where I didn't need to brake. Yeah, somewhere around here, because I got mixed up with the turn. I thought that was turn 3. And so that allowed Fred to get close to me and like, that wasn't turn 3. This is turn 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I managed to close the gap here. But I knew like coming into here, it was kind of slick as well. And I knew the inside here was slick. And I had to do that.
To avoid hitting him.
Yeah, lost a bit of speed there. I would say quite a bit of speed. If you go back, try rewind. I want to explain what's happening here. Try to pause it if you can.
So first slide there, and then...
Okay, pause. You see that hay bale there?
Mm-hmm.
That's in basically where I want to be. And I have to basically go around it, and it's blind, and it's also a bit wet there. So yeah, it was kind of slick over there, and I knew that if I didn't put my foot down, I would probably run into the back of Andy and basically take him out, and that would not have been good.
So you had to compromise, slipped out a bit, and you lost so much speed here.
Yeah, which sucks because this is an uphill section, so it's very slow to build up that speed again.
Yeah.
And that allowed Fred to, he took advantage of the fact of my mistake or my situation, I would say, or my circumstance. But I knew that, the race was still quite a while to go because we were entering the tricky technical part of the track where everyone's just playing chicken right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Colby came out of nowhere.
Exactly. Like he wasn't even on the live stream. You couldn't see him, and then suddenly he shows up.
Yeah,
And what ended up happening here is like I was in first place and I dropped to last place, and I'm like,
yeah.
great, I have three guys in front of me. But I knew that they were all on some sort of rain wheel, a mixture of rain wheels, and I'm not. And I
Mm-hmm.
knew the track didn't warrant rain wheels enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I had an advantage where, I could probably make up for it if I could somehow make my way to the front, because
Yeah.
I thought these guys would get in each other's way, and something's going to happen here. So I basically passed Fred, and then I'm closing in on Colby and Andy here, just trying to find an opening.
And Colby crashed. Now we can pull up. We can pull up. Let's see. Is this gonna? Okay, I think this is
The one that
the.
has his,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I love this
okay.
view. Yeah.
No, this is a different clip. As we get closer to the finish.
I can't believe you guys run the race, man. You guys are so brave, bro.
Well, it was one. It was very. It wasn't ideal,
Yeah,
but we knew that in street luge we have brakes on our feet, like we can control our boards better than the skaters can.
yeah.
So we have more control, and the thing is, like, we have to put on a show because that's what we came here to do. And I think the conditions were such that it made the race exciting to watch. And I think
Very. Yeah,
we're grateful that we actually did it. So
yeah.
it was really fun.
So yeah, we're coming up on Colby's crash. Boom. Unfortunate, man.
Yeah, really bummed. I think we knew that he had. Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to get past Andy, but once like we got past Colby's the corner where Colby crashed, I think
Mm-hmm.
that was turn 9. Like, and then after turn 9, you don't have to brake anymore. But because
Yeah.
the road isn't exactly straight, you still have to go through all these chicanes. And I was trying to figure out, how am I going to pass Andy? Am I going to pass him on his right, or am I going to pass him on the left?
Yeah.
And it just, there wasn't enough room to do so, and not enough time to do so. But that's what makes the race interesting, is that you don't always win, and it makes for a challenge. And I'm really grateful really
Yeah.
stoked that we had this exciting race.
Say, man, it was pretty fun to see, man. It was pretty fun to see. But one big game of chicken, one big game of chicken. And there was so much happening. You had Kobe with his wheels, with the secret wheels, whatever.
We went from fourth to first and held on.
Yeah.
And I guess he knew that like Andy was just gonna get by him, and so he had to take a risk in that last corner.
Yeah.
And that's what happens sometimes.
That
I
was
know how it
pretty fun.
feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was pretty sick. So are you doing anything different to prepare for this year's race season? Mm.
Uh, Nothing much, I guess.
Mm.
Doing the same thing. I have a different personal trainer in the gym now because my
Yeah.
previous PT resigned. He
Yeah.
has a better job, but
Yeah.
shout out to him. Like, he
Yeah.
really was one of my best personal trainers. Like, really
Mhm.
got my strength, the strongest it's ever been. But the new guy that he recommended, well, it's not new. He's an older guy, but he's been around in the gym, and he does a lot more calisthenics, more functional movement type work.
Mhm.
So it's a different training style with him now. And so he makes me sweat a lot more in the gym. Like, we're not doing as much weights on the machines, or not much power lifting, but more
Mhm.
body weight stuff. So he's trying to get my handstands going. So that's
Yeah.
something I can't do yet. It takes a lot of
Yeah.
work and effort and a long journey to go to get a handstand done right.
Nice. Looking forward to seeing a better push and whatever results that brings. It's gonna be pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting because
Yeah.
I think this year Andy is gonna show up again and do the necessary number. I think with only
Yeah.
4 races this year, and again for luge we're doing best three. So he just needs to show up to 3 races this year, and then we'll have a battle, and
Are you
then
going
the
to
other guys.
which races are you going to this year?
Um, well, basically the three that have already opened because we don't know the U.S. race,
Mm-hmm.
which race it's going to be because it may or may not be Utah again.
Yeah.
But definitely want to go back to Erzincan to defend my win there and see if I can do better there.
Yeah.
Um, with tweaking my setup a little bit here and there. Isle of Man, I'm really looking forward to it because I didn't
Yeah.
go there last year. And part of the reason was it was in July. It wasn't back to back with anything else, and the
Mm-hmm.
track was it wasn't the TT track, so I wanted to go to the TT track
Yeah. Are
because
you a
it's.
big motor racing fan? Motorbike racing?
Uh, I didn't know anything about the TT race. I only knew about it from, mainly the British guys talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it on TV here in Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
But to see those guys racing their bikes at really high speeds on basically a normal road,
Mm-hmm.
and if they crash, they die. Basically, they have one casualty per year, right?
It's crazy, crazy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but listening to everyone talking about how, the people who live on the island, are really big racing fans. They really welcome all sorts of racing on the island and really stoked to have us coming out there. And I didn't expect like even 8 stand-up guys and 8 lugers showing up to the track, and they basically, shut the whole island down basically for this event.
Yeah. It was
Um,
crazy. They had flares and stuff. Oh, that was insane,
but
man.
I hadn't seen that, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
obviously El Salvador, they had the fireworks behind the stage. That was a surprise.
Boom. Yeah. When you fly into El Salvador, do you come over the Pacific or the Atlantic? Which direction do you
Uh,
go in? Random
Due to my
question.
airline choice, I've been
Yeah.
flying over the Atlantic.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
um, we zoom out on the map here. So basically, I'm crossing from Malaysia. I fly over to Amsterdam. So I'm from Asia to
Ah,
Europe, and then I cross the Atlantic to go to Atlanta, and then cross the Gulf of Mexico to get to El Salvador. So I had to
yeah.
take at least 3 flights to get there, and a total journey time of about 50 hours.
Yeah.
So
When yeah, they need to put some races in Asia, man. It's overdue. We need to have a couple
I
races
know.
here, man. WDSC, got all this real estate.
I mean, we had those races back during the IDF years, right? We had
Yeah.
Australia, Bathurst, Australia. We had Arirang Hill in South Korea. Those are my two favorite tracks over in the on over on this side of the world in Asia
Yeah.
Pacific. So who knows? Maybe we'll go back to those venues one day.
Fingers
Fingers
crossed,
crossed.
man. Fingers crossed. I'd love a China
Yeah,
race. Yeah. Pretty cool,
yeah.
man. Well, that's all from me. Is there anything I missed out on that you'd have loved to talk about? Any sponsors you want to shout out?
I'd like to say
Mm-hmm.
thank you and a shout out to my gear sponsors, Seismic, for making really great wheels and been supporting me
Mm-hmm.
since 2009, I believe, or 2008. So it's been a long
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Riptide for bushings, pivot cups, pivot tubes, lubricants, um, and Don't Trip trucks for making trucks with spherical bearings, spherical pivots. Really
Yeah.
game changer. These are modern trucks that people should be using these days. Um, it makes you realize like how much slop there is when you're riding something that didn't have a slop stopping mechanism.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you could really. So how do you feel that in like luge? Like
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's also no coincidence, or it might be a coincidence,
Mm-hmm.
that the three brands that I ride for, they have a huge variety of products.
Mm-hmm.
The Seismic makes many sorts of wheels, bearings. The Riptide makes a lot of bushings and stuff. And
Yeah. Ooh.
choose from. So there's something because of their large offering, you can
Mm-hmm.
find something that suits your riding style. And I found something that suits my riding style, and
Yeah.
they're also one of the most affordable precision trucks out there in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's mainly due to the owner, Dan. His name is also Dan. Um, like this, Don't Trip Trucks is his side business. Like
Yeah.
he actually, I guess he machines other things out of his machine shop, and this is just something that he can do on the sideline.
Mm. So this is how he's able to keep the costs fairly low.
I think
Yeah,
so.
that is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Shout out Don't Trip Trucks, man. Shout out Spherical Bearings. And shout out
The
Riptide.
thing is, like, it's not new or novel. Like other
Yeah,
brands of trucks have been doing it, but it's only something that other modern race trucks are revisiting on the
yeah.
Rogue ZM1s, especially.
Shout out ZM1s. So
Right, those.
yeah, so in switching from spherical pivot and spherical insert from the urethane pivot and urethane insert, do you feel
Yeah.
more vibrations? Have you noticed that or not really with street luge?
Um, Surprisingly, I found the opposite to be true.
Right.
Like I found more dampening with spherical pivots,
Mm. Hmm.
and more stability. So that really helps me to basically ride better and ride faster.
Interesting. I'd really I'd really like to explore how slop affects riding street luge, and I don't know, it's just a whole other dimension. So that's pretty
I
cool.
mean,
Yeah.
spillage and downhill skateboarding, we're all born from the same roots. So,
Yeah.
whatever gear comes out, it benefits both. And it's, basically everyone's converging on pretty much the same gear. And
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, you won't notice the difference unless you've been riding the early stuff, right? So
Yeah.
then only you can appreciate what we have today.
Do you think you'll ever have like a super narrow street luge? Like
Super narrow.
yeah, skinnier.
Uh, um, I think
Yeah.
like the Ryan Farmer Pro model for the
Hmm.
Rogers brothers is narrower than mine because Ryan's much smaller than me, but I think he weighs about the same as me. And Andy Lau is riding a Ryan Farmer Pro model, but I think when I asked Andy to lay down on my board, I think he liked my board's widths,
Hmm.
as you can naturally, when you lean off, your shoulders are still on the board as opposed to on air, so
Hmm.
to speak. So that putting your shoulders over the edge gives you more leverage to apply to your rear trucks. So I'm happy with my board's width. Like I'm not
Yeah.
scraping the board in a tight hairpin.
Interesting. This is so cool. I've learned so much about street luge. I think this is the last street luge interview for this series potentially. So I've learned so
Okay.
much. Maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe I'll interview Andy if he makes time. But yeah,
No, you
man.
should because I want to hear his insights too. Like we all want to hear everyone's insights.
All right. What's the best way to reach Andy? What's the best way?
Andy Lally,
Yeah.
I can give you his contact.
Yeah.
Just I'll text you.
All
I'll
right.
send you his contact. Yeah,
Also.
he's on WhatsApp,
Yeah.
Instagram. I think these are the only two things that I. That's how I get to him. Yeah.
All right. Good. Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for making time. And yeah, that's all.
All
All
right,
right.
thanks, Abuga. Thank you for sending it on this full send series.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, cheers and take care, brother.
Thank you.